You're going to sit with me. You're going to watch. Hello, my internet family. Today I am going to sit down and chat to you guys about a very modern problem that's becoming increasingly more common and that I'm getting asked about on a daily basis because I mentioned it in the past, and this is definitely a difficult topic for me, and I talk about everything on this channel. I thought I would start off by reading you guys out an old diary entry of mine that I happened upon recently when I was looking for something for my book. I can't remember, it was some passage I was writing, and I came across this and it made me really upset. This is something I wrote in 2011. I'm just going to read it out to you guys. I'm fed up of this. I wish I could buy a new face and a new figure. I'd do anything to look different and to like myself. I just feel disgusting today. I'm not even going to college. I'll likely miss my assignment deadline on Friday, but I don't care. All I can think about right now is how much I want to slice off my love handles and how vile my skin must look to other people and how jealous I am of everyone who doesn't have to deal with this nasty, cruel inside head voice all the time. My best friend Emma commented on my weight today while we were in the New Look changing rooms shopping for dresses for a night out. She said that I've become very thin, too quick, too thin, she said. I've downsized my wardrobe 4 times and I look totally different from when I was overweight, but when I look in the mirror, my tummy still looks horrible. Why do I even care? I don't know. I feel undesirable. My plummeting weight and my efforts to be skinny aren't changing that, and it's pissing me off and getting me down. And my face. Ugh. Don't get me wrong, my eyes are nice and I don't mind my features, but my skin is so off-putting and horrible. I don't understand how Shane, my then boyfriend, this is who I'm talking about, thinks I'm beautiful. These thoughts are starting to consume me. I can't stop checking how my belly looks in the mirror, how it pokes out over my jeans and bends and folds when I sit down, how obvious my spots and scars are. The logical side of my brain is telling me I'm being silly and that I need to learn why I feel like this and change it. But I don't think I'll ever feel differently. There has to be something I can do to change how I look. I'm crying now just because I feel a roll at the bottom of my tummy and I've been doing ab workouts every day for 2 months. 2 new spots. Nothing works. Feel like shit. And for a little bit of context, this is what I looked like while writing this post. This passage really captures the state of my mental health a few years ago when I was diagnosed with body dysmorphic disorder. I remember talking about this at the time to my dad, and he really didn't understand. I think he thought it was a case of low self-esteem, which it really isn't. It's very common to feel a bit down on yourself and feel a bit crap about how you look sometimes, but body dysmorphic disorder is a very, very different thing, and that's what I want to go into in this video and tell you guys what I did that helped. I'm nervous talking about this because it is something that I still struggle with sometimes, and I do love myself now. It's just occasionally the voice in the back of my head does start saying things, and it's up to me now to ignore it and not to act on it and not to let it interfere with my enjoyment of my day-to-day life. Something I wrote this morning for my book, which is due in January. Terrified. So yeah, the outcome of the discussions with my dad about this body dysmorphia were labeling yourself as a sufferer of X and then constantly telling yourself I have X can lead to stagnation for some people based on their mindset. But for others, myself included, labeling the disorder or whatever spurs them on to be free of X, in other words, identifying the problem you're experiencing, becomes step 1 in overcoming it and moving past it. So body dysmorphia, or BDD, is an anxiety disorder related to body image. A therapist I was seeing a few times during university told me that I had this problem when I communicated all the worry and excessive obsession over perceived flaws in my physical appearance at the time. Other people would tell me I was exaggerating these problems, and now when I look back, I absolutely was. But I couldn't see that at the time at all. And I think I've actually dealt with this since I was only about 12. which is terrible. I started comparing myself to other people at a very, very young age, and the media shows us this kind of broad, general cookie cutter image of beauty and, you know, what people see as sexy and what's attractive, and I never felt like I fit into that, and just that feeling ended up kind of snowballing a lot, to the point where I obsessed over the sides of my stomach, my love handles, which they call them. No matter what weight I've ever been, I've always had this like thing about that area, and my acne scars. I fixated on these parts of me to the point where I would think about them almost every second of the day. Now, some days I'm fine and I'll look at my tummy and now I'm significantly bigger than I was when this problem developed. Or I'll look at my skin without makeup on and I'll think, yeah, I'll appreciate the fact that I have air in my lungs and I'm alive and I'm here, and I'll see my body as a vessel, and it's something that gets me from A to B, and I try and make the most of it when I can. And then other days I just want to lounge around in a big hoodie and not go out. Yeah, those days are becoming less frequent, but they do still happen, and I had to get that off my chest. And it's kind of horrible admitting that, because I wanted to be all like, you do these things and then you're fine forever. Unfortunately, that's not what happened for me. So yeah, I'm going to read you guys some common signs of body dysmorphic disorder in case you're worrying about yourself or a friend or a family member. So these include but aren't limited to frequent weighing of yourself, skin picking, to try and like smooth out your skin or whatever, excessive use of tanning products, apparently, brushing and styling your hair obsessively, working out obsessively, especially when the focus is on one particular area of concern, using very heavy makeup to try hide something of concern, checking your appearance very often in mirrors or even avoiding them entirely, frequent body checking with your hands, for example, feeling areas of your body that you consider to be too big or too small, like your thighs or something like that. Constantly comparing yourself with celebrities or models in magazines and even people on the street. And seeking cosmetic surgery / having other types of treatments to change the area of concern. I remember reading a list like this a few years ago and I was just like, yep, that's me in a nutshell, all the things. And again, I need to go back to it, there being a difference between having a little bit of low self-esteem sometimes and this. This is like a succubus. BDD is like this thing, this mental health problem that is lodged into your brain where it just doesn't let you stop beating yourself up and putting yourself down and telling you won't be happy until you look this way, or you're not good enough until you look this way, or you're just absolutely vile and grotesque and disgusting. I also don't want you guys to confuse body dysmorphic disorder with eating disorders. Some people with BDD will experience an eating disorder. I definitely did. But there are people with eating disorders who don't have body dysmorphic disorder. All of this falls on the spectrum of poor mental health. It was pretty debilitating for me for years and years. I'd get up for school or university, and while I'd be tugging my jeans on and slapping my makeup on my face, the negative thoughts would start right then in the morning, and they'd be saying every centimetre of your body is wrong and gross, misshapen. But even some days back then, it would sit quietly in my head and just, wait, and I'd have days where I felt nice and I wasn't kind of going through this. So it can really vary in severity day to day and person to person as well. People who have this problem can fixate on any particular area, like some people it'll be their nose or their chin or their genitals, even hair, skin. It's not all about body weight, and it's always about this perceived disfigurement, as if we're all supposed to somehow look the same for some stupid bloody reason. I don't know what it was, but something put it into my brain when I was very young that I was really out of proportion and asymmetrical, and that I looked like a monster because of my acne. And I remember a little child cried when he saw me without makeup one time on my skin, and that really stung. That really, really upset me a lot. And kind of stuck with me. I accepted that I had BDD when I realised I fixated on everything I thought was wrong about myself based on society's definition on what right means. This can happen to boys as well as girls, and it often leads people to just like hide away, sit in their house for hours and hours a day, not wanting to socialize, just purely based on worry over this thing that they have their obsession with. And some people will experience body dysmorphic disorder and still manage to go about their lives, but just somehow hide and mask the fact that they're always thinking about this thing. And it might come through in certain things that they say and do, and you might get a kind of hint here and there that they're suffering from this, but there is a lot of silent sufferers of this who are just afraid to talk about it. It's terrifying to say these things out loud. And I've had a lot of practice talking to a camera, so that's why I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm comfortable to talk about these things. And the fact that some days I still will think down on myself in this way, and it definitely doesn't help with the fact that I put myself out there and I've documented my recovery from eating disorders, and people will still choose to comment on how I look. All I want is to connect with people and show them who I am inside. Like, I know I love to get dolled up and look nice and stuff, but that's so I feel good. It's not so you think I look good, it's so I feel good and I feel confident. And some people would just choose to focus on that with YouTubers and things like that. You do put yourself out there, and when you've gone through mental health issues, it can make them crop up again. And it's been happening for some of my friends recently, and it's just shit. It's just sad. I want to talk a bit about what helped me and what can help you, but it's really important to say, if you don't want to recover and get better, you won't. It took me a long time to realise this, because I think I genuinely was really comfortable in my misery when I was going through a lot of stuff. I kind of had it as my comfort blanket, the ability to constantly mope in it and complain and whine about how I was feeling and stuff like that. And, no one else can get you better. You have to choose to get better, and then people can help you. They can drag you up, hold your hand, but you need to want it yourself. So there's like a multitude of things that I did that definitely took me from A to let's say W. We won't go all the way to Z. The first thing obviously was talking to a professional and getting into cognitive behavioural therapy. This is a type of therapy that helps you manage problems by changing how you think and behave, and I won't go too much into that. I'll leave a link though down below all about CBT, and it is amazing. I hugely recommend it to any of you guys who are struggling with this. The second thing I did is seek out positive role models. So celebrities and YouTubers who are self-accepting. I stopped following all the people I used to follow who place this huge emphasis on looking a certain way. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of, fitness gurus or whatever that I love to follow along with, but they very much talk about it from a health perspective and feeling good. It's never about, fitting into society's little cookie cutter image. And that's so important to be able to distinguish the difference. I looked for women, and I look up to women who embrace their body just as it is, stretch marks and all. There's a huge body positivity movement online. You see Instagram accounts like Body Posy Panda, and there's a lot of women on YouTube as well that I just love, and I wanted to become one of them, and I feel like I have. I feel like I've gotten to that place now where I love myself enough that I can kind of talk about how great I am sometimes, because I do. I like who I am. I really like the person that I am, and I don't hate my body anymore. Two other things are joining support groups, or having a supportive group of friends, or joining a supportive forum for people who also struggle with BDD, and then also changing your environment and your social media environment. So becoming a smarter consumer of social media. And that is tough, because we can't really control everything we'll see in our timelines, but we can control who we follow, who we mute, who we block, who we shove out of our lives. If you have someone in your life that makes you feel terrible about how you look, they keep pointing out something about your physical appearance and making you feel less valuable as a human based on that one thing or those several things, you need to snippety snip them out of your life. Thumbs up if you want me to do a video about getting rid of fake friends and assholes. Yeah, guys, I just wanted to chat a little bit about that. Like, BDD is just like this monster that can live in your head. Not very welcome, in my head anyway, and shouldn't be in yours either. I feel like it was born of the media, and I think the media is amazing, but there's so many downsides to it as well, and I'm talking a lot about that actually in my book, which I'll update you guys on when it's further along. And yeah, just don't feel ashamed of yourself if you're struggling with this. It's very, very common. Apparently 1 in 100 people go through this, but they think that that statistic is higher because it's a very embarrassing thing to admit to, especially for men. And I'd love you guys to talk in the comments down below about your experiences with this, or if you are one of those lovely people who just loves your body, please tell us and just say something nice and encouraging and motivating to my other viewers, because I just love yous all, and I just want to give you a big bloody squishy hug. So I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thumbs up, comment, follow me on my social media, all that good shite. Slán go fóill, which is goodbye in Irish. Bye.